Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kyla, and today we're going to be talking about Bariatric cruise TikTok drama. Before we get into it, I do just want to say, yes, I'm back. It has been a while. I have moved, so behind me is a little bit different. I'm actually just sitting in my living room right now with this gorgeous wardrobe that I just bought. It's antique. So pretty. Also, I apologize if like the lighting and sound is a little bit off in this video. I'm sitting kind of in the best, brightest place that I can with still like a simple background. I do have one of the windows open because it's way too hot in here and we don't have AC. Anyways, I'm back. I'd like to say better than ever, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. To keep up with more day-to-day stuff from me, follow my Instagram. It'll be linked down below. And with that, let's just get right into the video. A friend of mine recently just put me on to this TikTok drama called Bariatric Cruise Drama, and I was instantly intrigued. I was like, what the hell is that? But instantly, the vibe that I was getting was like the LuLaRoe gastric sleeve surgery recruitment scam situation. Recently, a creator named Cece, who goes by Bari Diaries on social media and on YouTube, put on a cruise event for bariatric surgery patients to meet up, get to know each other, go on a fun event, network, things like that. And essentially what ended up happening is a lot of high expectations that were just not met, and a lot of like drama and mystery surrounding it going down on TikTok, which is kind of where this whole thing took place. But you're probably thinking, what the f even is a bariatric cruise? First of all, we need to talk about what is bariatric surgery and what is the bariatric community on TikTok. Not to be confused with geriatric, because it sounds very similar. So bariatric refers to the branch of medicine that deals with treating obesity. Essentially, bariatric surgery refers to weight loss surgeries such as like the gastric sleeve, gastric bypass, that type of stuff. And there is a community of people who have gone through those surgeries or are planning to go through those surgeries, and they just share their experiences, what they eat day to day, what they're getting up to, how the recovery is, all that kind of stuff, just sharing their journey and experience with weight loss and with bariatric surgery. So that's kind of what that community is. There's a community for everything on TikTok, so this is no different. Sorry, I'm looking down. I do have some notes as well. It's been a while since I did this. I'm kind of rusty. And there are a few big name creators who I'll pop up their pages on the screen here, but there's one named Jenna, there's Tanya, and there's Teresa. Those are kind of the three main big creators that I've seen in this situation. And there are a couple others who, of course, we're going to talk about their experiences as well. So then, to cover the more important question, what even is a bariatric cruise? The cruise was an event put on by creator Cece, or Bari Diaries on the internet, who wanted to create an event for people who've been through bariatric surgery to discuss their experiences, kind of network basically. It was like a networking but also fun event for bariatric surgery patients, recoveries, I don't know what you want to call them, but basically people who've had bariatric surgery in the past. Cece puts on this cruise. She starts advertising on TikTok, and of course she invites a few of the bigger creators in the bariatric community. Everyone's super excited, and the website made the cruise sound really awesome. There was like a lot of events going on. I'll put up screenshots, but basically a lot was promised. Everything from like events and talks hosted by keynote speakers, excursions, onboard activities, like all kinds of stuff, fancy dinners, and so on. And so that's why it was so disappointing to a lot of people when the expectations that were set were clearly not met at all. Before people really started speaking out, I noticed myself with this like TikTok drama. A lot of people, specifically like team members who were associated with the bariatric cruise, were going on to their TikToks and saying that they weren't going to talk about exactly what went down, but that they're no longer associating with Cece, aka Bari Diaries, or the bariatric cruise or anything like that. But there was a lot of mystery surrounding it, which I think is a big reason why a lot of people were very interested in this drama, because a lot of people were talking about it. No one was really saying much. Everyone wanted to know like what the hell went down on this cruise. Best to hear it from people who were actually on the cruise. Okay, so the first videos we're going to be reacting to is from a creator named Jenna. So I'm going to play her recap of the whole situation up here now.
Bariatric cruise. A few months ago, Bari Diaries reached out to myself and my best friend Caitlin to could be team members on their October cruise, and we are going to be doing bags and shirts for them. Saw a few red flags, wasn't sure, feeling a little weird about it, but was letting it go because we knew that she had a lot of great brands, big name brands that she was working with. Tanya was going to the June cruise. Teresa was going to the June cruise, so she clearly had to know what she was doing. As time went on, kind of was getting weird feelings about different things, red flags, red flags, red flags. So the opportunity for me to go to the June cruise came up, and Cece reached out, and I was like, why do you have a room available? Where she then told me that the reason that she had a room available is because the person that was supposed to be there was having plastic surgery and it was moved up, so she no longer could go. Okay, so I paid for my room, which was about double the price of what the room actually cost, finding out that later. And then to find out that that person did not have plastic surgery, Cece actually removed her from the cruise. She promised me that she was going to pay for my room for the night before the cruise. She did not do that. I ended up having to get my own room after she literally gave my room that I had all of my stuff in away. Even though I was only an attendee for the Bariatric cruise, I helped make all of the swag bags, which initially she said that there was going to be about 340 people coming to the Bariatric cruise. But then as I was there helping her husband make the swag bags, remember I'm only an attendee, she told me that there was 150 people going. So we made 150 swag bags to then get down to check-in to realize only 73 people signed up total. And of those 73 people are people like Cece and her husband, like people that should not beating, like don't need a swag bag. So it's like, oh, okay. And then there was quite a few people that didn't come at all. So I don't know why she was making us make 150. But then as the week went on, there was just so many things of unprofessionalism that people are asking her questions and she's just being straight up rude. She's violating people's privacy. I've never seen so much unprofessionalism in my life. The team members were amazing. But they were trying to put out her fires the entire weekend, and it was not enjoyable. Security was called. Private events were not private. She promised a lot and delivered nothing. Okay, part 2. Other things that it didn't make sense, like Pure Health, they donated for the non-scale victories that there was 10 hot air balloon rides and 10 zip lines, and you could win it, and there was no picking out names or anything of that nature. It was a list that Cece had in her hand already predetermined, and it just so happened to be Cece and her husband and the big influencers, as in Teresa and Tanya, and their friends, and then maybe 1 or 2 attendees, which is like, really? So I know Teresa and Tanya tried to give up their spots so that attendees could go, and they were like, no, we can't do that. Because for them, it was so much more. Like we had, for the very first night, I think we had 6 photographers, 2 videographers. When we went to Little Havana, we had a drone and video and photographers, and it's like, why do we have all of this? It was so much more about getting the word out of the Barry Diaries and of Cece, and not of the reason that we were there, which was a self-care retreat. There was not one single thing of self-care. Self-care is not having to call security on the host because she will not respect the privacy of others. That's not self-care. Self-care is not yelling at people and being rude to people and, well, why don't you just look at your itinerary? They're asking you questions, you answer them, like customer service. Self-care is not all of the things that we had to experience. I'm pretty sure that every single person, especially team members, had a mental breakdown several times on this trip, even some of the attendees. It was security being called, it was crossing the line, it was unprofessionalism, it was so many red flags, and it's nothing that I can stand behind, and I really don't know how she will be able to get sponsors after this, from the things that I watched and I had to endure over this week. She promised over Water Cabana at Coco Cay, you can only fit 8 people, and she promised all 70 of us that we are going to be going on this thing. What? That's never going to work. Okay, so this cruise was supposed to be self-care. It was supposed to be where Tanya and Teresa get one-on-one time and get to love on and get involved and talk to all of the amazing attendees. But at every waking moment, we are separated. Even we went to Little Havana for the morning before the cruise, and she had all of the team members in one van and all of the attendees in the other. And then when we got off, the attendees went with one guide, and the team members and the influencers went with her. And so it was separated at every waking moment. And then Nicole from American Dream Nut Butter was a keynote speaker, and she was supposed to give a speech to go to the room, and we didn't have it reserved. There was a wedding happening there. So she didn't get to give her speech. She gave a short speech during the fashion show, which she was an absolutely amazing speaker, but we didn't get to hear her amazing speech, and I would have loved to hear so much more out of her. And then everything was, it needed to be videoed and it needed to be photographed because we need content. That's not why we were there. Well, I didn't post anything. I was there to make connections. I know Tanya, Teresa, Nicole, they were all there to make connections. But instead it became all about social media. And I know for Tanya, she had come out and stated about just wanting a personal thing, and there was a lot of pushback for it. Unfortunately, lines were crossed when personal lines were crossed, and security was called, and it was very unfortunate. We definitely tried to make the best out of the situation that was in our hands, and I have to say, all of the team members were so incredibly amazing. So incredibly amazing. They all deserve their own vacation after this because they were putting out fires left and right. But unfortunately, Barry Diaries was so incredibly unprofessional, crossing so many personal boundaries, and I can't put my name to that. I don't want Caitlin. I told Caitlin what I witnessed and allowed her to decide what she wanted to do for October, but we both decided after the things that I witnessed, we don't want to be associated with Barry Diaries anymore. And there's a lot of other people that feel the same way. So just be careful. But there's a whole lot more, but it's not my story to tell. Don't get me wrong. I am a person to give somebody grace. With this being the very first bariatric cruise, a lot of grace was given to Barry Diaries, and because we knew that there was going to be some hiccups. But when confronted with the issues that people were seeing, and when I say that there were issues, I think there was basically every single person were like, we have an issue. She didn't take any ownership for anything that she did. And she fought, and she was rude, and it was bad. And that she had the audacity to then try to blame everything on me. What? I just came into this mix like 2 weeks ago. I had nothing to do with anything. I am literally just an attendee who you have basically made work this entire trip because I'm a people pleaser and I can't freaking say no to people. I'm pretty sure that I actually did more work for the bariatric cruise than she did herself, and yet she's going and telling everybody that I'm the issue. That it's my fault. I did nothing. How? The dumpster fire of the weekend was all on Cece. It had absolutely nothing to do with me, and she's blaming it on me. When I literally came into the mix 2 weeks ago, had absolutely nothing to do with planning, had absolutely nothing to do with the cruise at all. I was there as an attendee. I was there as a guest. But she can't take ownership for anything that she does. And that's the reality. She crosses the line. Very, very unprofessional. Not something that I want to stick my name with. And a lot of very, very, very upset attendees, a lot of very upset sponsors. I would believe that they would be upset. Upset all around. Everybody. I know, obviously, Tanya and Teresa have already spoken out about how they feel. But most of us are leaving this cruise going, never again will we work with Barry Diaries. There's a lot more that happened, but it's not my story to tell. That's up to them to tell their story. There's still a lot that I'm missing out on for myself, but it is like 2:30 in the morning and I'm exhausted. So that's what I have so far. So much fun.
Okay, so that was Jenna's main update. I'm not going to get too into depth just because there is a lot of overlap between what she says and what the other creators say, but I do want to play some of their videos as well. But the main things that really stood out to me is one, that she had to pay for her own room despite basically working for the Barry cruise, and she also wasn't supposed to be working for it. She was supposed to be just an attendee, but she was told to make 150 swag bags even though only 73 people were going, which included the host and the host partner. And also another big thing that a lot of creators have pointed out is that they had to pay for their rooms even though they're told that they'd be reimbursed. They paid double the cost, and the winners for all of the events were handpicked by Cece, and they were all team members, meaning people who worked for Barry Cruise, including Cece herself, and the big name influencers that were there. The next creator whose video I'm going to react to is Teresa, aka Transforming Teresa Marie. She has 1 million followers on TikTok. We're going to react to her videos surrounding the Barry cruise now.
This is my one and done video about the bariatric cruise. It will be on my page, so that way if people have questions, they can go there. Before I get into the details, I want to make it very clear that everyone at this event, with the exception of Barry Diaries, had the best intentions. We were brought there to participate in a self-care retreat where we were going to hang out with other weight loss warriors. We were going to uplift one another, share, and celebrate our community. Even with all of the negative things that happened, we all had moments throughout the trip where we experienced positivity. There were times when we were able to connect with one another. There were certain events that we were able to put together that brought the community together and gave the attendees a chance to spend time with us and to share a little bit about their journeys. Now, before I go on, I want to make it extremely clear that I am only referring to Barry Diaries and none of the team and nobody else involved in this event. I'm going to briefly touch on the different areas that we had issues with throughout the cruise. One, the itinerary. Most of the things didn't happen. People went and showed up. No one was there. It was completely unorganized. We did manage to salvage a few of the events, but it was not without a lot of heartache, frustration, and sadness on the part of a lot of the attendees and everyone else who was there for the event. Two, the content creators, myself and Tanya, we were kept isolated away from the attendees who paid to be there with us. We were separated on different buses at different tables, and we did not get a lot of time to interact with them. Basically, we had to fight. We had to fight to create moments where we were able to get to know them and hang out with them. Three, a lot of the things that Barry Diaries told everybody were not true. They fell through. Nothing ever happened. She said she was going to give excursions away to 25 people. She awarded them to most of the team members and her family. And in the end, they didn't even end up taking place, okay? A museum tour, so many things that she said were going to happen. And Overwater the Cabana never took place. On the island of Coco Cay, I had a private cabana for myself and my guests. Barry Diaries repeatedly snuck onto the private beach and tried to cause fights, and we had to have her physically removed from security 3 separate times. Now, we are women who like to see other people succeed, and so we sat down with her and me, Tanya, and Nicole from American Dream Nut Butter, and tried to give this person a chance to explain, to work things out, and to come up with a plan to salvage the weekend so that we could make it amazing for these attendees. All she did was lie, deny, and blame shift. It was very clear from the beginning to the end of this event that she was there for one thing only: to promote herself, to gain her following, and to exploit everyone involved. The things that transpired during this event were all because of one person and their intentions. Now, most of the people that I've interacted with within the bariatric community are amazing, beautiful, inspiring, uplifting, incredible warriors. And we don't want people to walk away from this event thinking that that's how all meetups are. That's not the case. And Tanya and I are looking very much forward to working with American Dream Nut Butter and other brands in order to continue to create incredible experiences where we can come together as a community. We have all been through one thing or another in our life, and it's so important to have a sense of community where you can go to be inspired, uplifted, where you can stay accountable and motivated and all the things. And this community means everything to me, and I know that these sponsors, all of the team members, the attendees, all the content creators, we were all on the same page of love and unity and community. And it is unfortunate what transpired, but we feel very confident that moving forward, things will go well in the future. So stay tuned, because we have a lot of exciting things that are going to be coming out soon.
And here's a video that was posted a little bit more recently from Teresa. This is a stitch with the Barry Diaries account, so this was really interesting to me.
Today is day 1 of the bariatric meetup. We are going on the Royal Caribbean. Hi guys, I am actually on my sister's account because I've been tagged a bunch of times letting me know that Cece from Barry Diaries is taking my content and posting it without my permission, trying to shape a narrative about the videos that I shared early on in the first few hours of my cruise. Let me be very clear. Cece does not have my permission to use my videos. She does not have my permission to share my content. I had a horrible time on the cruise because of Barry Diaries. I have nothing to do with her. So if you see my videos being posted on her content or her page, please do me a favor and report them. I love you guys. Thank you for the support.
So yeah, that's really interesting as well, because not only is Cece just lying about how the cruise went down, she's also using a video that Teresa made within probably the first few hours of arriving there, before any of the bad stuff happened, and she's using that to promote the future cruises without even asking Teresa's permission to use that content as advertisement. So that's just insane already, and that alone kind of tells you what type of person Cece is. It's very manipulative to do that. Okay, it has started to rain a lot more, so I apologize if you can hear that. I'll actually show you guys. It's super pretty. Our yard is a mess right now. I'm going to react to Tanya's video now, which is explaining the whole situation and why she also had a terrible time on the cruise.
All right, let's get into it. Here we go. I got a few points written out here because I'm going to make one video, and then we're going to get on with life. First, I want to say this is not bullying, and this is definitely not cancel culture. When you share your truth about an event that happened that your followers know you went to, and they're also trying to go there, not y'all in good conscience, there's no way I could be like, yeah, we had the best time, go. No. There's no way. I want you to go pay your money and go happen what happened to the attendees this weekend. I'm not trying to cancel anybody, okay? I hope that this person does better. I want better for everyone. A lesson learned for everyone there. Also, this is not about a single team member, okay? Those people are amazing. Those people were away from their families and their kids just like we were, and they were working behind the scenes for months. I wasn't behind the scenes. They were. They are amazing, every single team member. This is about one person only, Barry Diaries, the host of the Bariatric Cruise. One person only. That's it. Now we can get into it. So when I was pulled into this, I was brought into this, I was told there were over 300 people already signed up for a bariatric cruise. People were going to get to sit and meet and greet and share their journeys, and it was going to be amazing. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? I was like, I'm in. I don't care if it's 5 people. I'm in. I think it ended up being, I think there were like 70, maybe even less. I'm not sure, but it definitely was not over 340 people. I can tell you that. That was a ploy to get me, Teresa, and another content creator that has a large following there. The fact that she thought she had to lie about that hurts my heart. I'm not there for the numbers, and I'm not on here for the numbers either. You guys that follow me know me. First, rattle out of the box, okay? The meet and greet. Heavy appetizers. That's a meal for a bariatric patient. I think around, it was super, super late, like 9 something maybe. Supposed to start at 5, then supposed to start at 6, then I think it started at maybe 7 something. I have no idea. No organization whatsoever, none. Let's make TikToks the second we walk in, the second I'm in. Let's make a TikTok. Let's do this. Everything's got to be recorded. And I'm just like, okay, like, I didn't want a phone in my face the entire time, but okay, let's make some TikToks. So we did. We had a great time. We danced it up that night. It was a great vibe. I went around, and I know other team members went around as well and tried to visit with the attendees and make sure that they all felt welcome, because a lot of them were just sitting down. Some of them did by the end of the night get up and get out of their comfort zone and dance, and that was an amazing, like, it's just amazing to see when you see people stepping out of their comfort zone and doing something for the first time, which is why that's why I went there. So that was great. We wake up the next morning, we're separated, okay? Attendees on one bus and team members on the other. Teresa and I both spoke up. We were told, no, y'all are not sitting with the attendees. We're all sitting together. And I was like, this is not why I came. Like this, I'm not here to meet a bunch of people who are content creators, and even though those people are amazing, I'm here to visit. I'm here to sit next to someone on a bus and share my journey and listen to her journey as well. That's why I was there. That never happened, and we were told that's not gonna happen. Supposed to visit a museum. She never got that set up. I heard her ask the tour guide, did you get the museum open? She had hyped it up, and like it was only gonna be open for the Barry community. Like I got this open for us. Never did that. That never happened. Supposed to be a pool party the second we get on the cruise. That never happened. We danced and drank at the pool and had a great time, but it wasn't the entire Barry group. It was just a select group of people. The whole entire time you hear people complaining like this is the most unorganized event I've ever been to in my life, and it's y'all day 2. Like it's day 2. I'm visiting with attendees as I see them. I'm going to them, and they're like, okay, this is not what we paid for. They're so unhappy. You're putting out fires behind the scenes that nobody knows about, and I know I've heard the team members speak on that. They were doing that the entire time. The entire trip, these team members are trying to smooth this over an event that their name is attached to, that my name is attached to as well. But none of us are the ones that it was a crap show because of. We go to have a white party. We're all dressed up. It looks amazing. Like we're looking amazing, looking fly as hell. There is no white party. Nothing was set aside for the Barry group. It was a Royal Caribbean event, and there was no room for anybody, so we had to leave. That was another bust. It was one thing after another. It was supposed to be a scavenger hunt. There was no scavenger hunt. Supposed to be a midnight 5K. That got canceled because people wanted to dance and have a good time. They were vibing, and I get that. But that was Monica's only event, and she was super upset the 5K got canceled. So we all went up and did it anyways, even though we went up and did it anyways to support her because that was her only event. And she was super upset about that. Like, you don't cancel events that people are over. Also, when that's an event that could have happened, when so many things had already been on the itinerary and nothing was going by what it was supposed to. And we listed all the positives already in the other video. Like the fashion show, that was I cried during the fashion show. I had to stop. I don't know if there's a video. I have no idea where that's at, and I don't care where that's at. I had to stop because I was in tears. I had to just hug my sister in the middle of that fashion show because literally I was thinking to ourselves, 500 pounds ago, my sister and I would not be out here strutting our stuff on this fashion. Women and these men, we have all been morbidly obese, and we're out here strutting our stuff. That fashion show, we needed that moment. Like, everybody was there. Nicole had an amazing motivating speech. Like, that fashion show was the first moment on the entire cruise that I was like, okay, like, yes. Like, this is why I'm here, for these moments like this, these raw, real moments. And I'm not trying to make this very long, but there's just so much stuff to talk about. Like I said, I'm only doing this one, and then that's it. I'm washing my hands of it.
So when I was approached about it, I was told I was going to be the keynote speaker. Great, amazing, I'll do it. I'll do a live Q&A because that's how I roll. I don't do scripted things. So I had no problem with doing that. We get the itinerary page. She's put my picture in front of American Dream Nut Butters and ProCare Health as this TikTok sensation. I literally went to her and I was like, why did you do this? Like, I don't want my picture first in the app. That's the dumbest. Put your sponsors first. Get your priorities in check. And she was like, well, you're a TikTok star. And so people have come to see you. And so that's why. No, like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You put your sponsors first. They're sponsoring this event. She never even brought them up. So the people that did the fashion show, I don't want to say too many names. They had to call up Nicole and let Nicole, American Dream Nut Butters, the main sponsor, they let her talk. She wasn't even scheduled to talk. She hadn't even been announced. So anyways, I prepared for this keynote, right? I read my binder back to front like 3 times because I thought these people are going to ask me VSG questions about weight loss stalls and how do you stay motivated? How do you stay in the right mindset? How do you battle head hunger? That's what I prepared for. She texted me like so many days before and was like, all right, you're not going to talk about weight loss. You're not going to talk about VSG, nothing motivational. You're not talking about anything to do with that. You're going to talk about how to become a TikTok star. I said, no, I'm not. No, I am not. I will not be mentioned in TikTok. I'm not there for TikTok. I'm not there to build a following. No, I'm not going to be talking about that. So anyway, we get to the keynote. I walk in and she's like, so change your plans. So much has went down before this. I confronted her. We had 3 altercations. 3 times where I confronted her. 3 times where she lied all 3 times. And she said, literally, I effed up the first 2 days. I effed up. Okay, I effed up the first 2 days because of Jenna. Blame the first 2 days being a crap show on Jenna. I'm not going to say the reason why because that is a personal reason between those 2. If they want to disclose that, they can. That is not my business. She took 0 accountability. We confronted her. I said, why did you lie? She told Nicole that I had said things about Nicole. Told me Nicole said things about me. Totally false. None of that happened. So had us put against each other so that we wouldn't get together and powwow and talk and be like, oh, this is what's going on. She made up lies about me and my brand, and said we were collabing for a bariatric cert. No, we're not. No, we are not, and we never will be. Separated the attendees from the team leaders the entire time. And I said, why are you doing this? So she gave out 20 excursions that ProCare Health sponsored. They paid for the excursions to the team members. I said, I don't want it. She called, and the winners are Tanya Spanglow. Again, Tanya Spanglow. I don't want it. I set her aside. I said, give my hot air balloon ride and my zip line to somebody else. Did I want to go on a hot air balloon ride? Hell yes, I did. I wanted to go. But I wanted the attendees to feel like they were a part of something. She said, I can't do that. It goes by your card. I said, well, then I'm not going. I'm not going. You can either give my ride to somebody else. I am not going. This is not what I am about. I am about camaraderie. I am about sharing our journeys. That's why I went to connect with people, not to separate people and make them feel isolated. Like so many said they felt isolated the entire time. They weren't included in anything. I'm getting worked up. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to do it. But y'all, it's just, you get so freaking emotional. I'm drained from this. I pulled her aside 3 different times. 3 different times. She yelled and she lied and she cussed every breath and just, I did this and this is just this and blaming on everybody except take accountability and literally say, you know what? I lied. It was a ploy to get you here because you have a following. Like, I wanted her to say that. If she would have come out and told the truth, but she didn't tell the truth one time. She blamed it on her team members. She blamed it on other things that I cannot say, okay? Because you can't slander somebody. I'm aware of that. But this is not bullying. This is not cancel culture. I don't want her canceled. I want her to do better. If she would hold the event and it would be the most amazing event the bariatric world would ever see, I would be so proud of her. I wish she would do that, okay? But that's not where we're at. We're at a place where there's a cruise in October and people are signed up. And if it goes like this one, there's no way I could sleep at night thinking that people were like, oh, well, Tanya and Teresa went on that cruise. And so, baby, we are going and we are going to have, no, there's no way I could not speak up about this. It's not bullying when it is the facts. I walked into my keynote and she was like, you are not speaking. We have changed it because you don't want to talk about social media. So here's what we're doing. And I was literally like, no, here's what we're doing. And I was very angry in that moment. Yes, I was. And people witnessed that. And I do apologize for that. But at that point, I had been pushed to my limits. I had went around to attendees and told them, you're going to get to share your journey tonight. I'm not speaking. We're going to do a pass the mic. We're going to do a round table. So that's exactly what we did. The most amazing moment on the cruise yet, besides Nicole and the fashion show. Those 2 things were simply amazing. Everybody came up to me after that and said, that is what we were here for. That's what we paid money for. That's what we thought this was going to be about. If we would have just done that like once a day, I would be happy. Like, y'all, it's so much. It's so much stuff. At dinners, same thing. Separated the whole time. Attendees sitting by themselves. Like, it was just crazy. So I had to speak up. And you guys know that was a hard thing for me to do. Because I'm positivity on here. I'm motivating on here. I'm waters and coffees and all that. But this had to be told. Unfortunately.
Okay, so that is Tanya's video. I have to say right off the bat, she seems, I mean, they all do, but she seems so sweet and so genuine. The way that she just wanted to connect with people. She wasn't there to be the TikTok star. She was there to just connect and get to know the attendees. And unfortunately, she was basically told she's not allowed to do that. So just a brief recap of what she said there. But the fact that Cece lied and said way more people were going, trying to get Tanya and Teresa to agree to go, when it sounds like they would have anyways. Like, they seem like really nice people. Basically, everything that Tanya said sort of solidifies this idea that Cece essentially just wanted to get more followers out of this. She wanted to use people. She obviously wanted money too because she's selling the tickets, but I think she also wanted followers, hence why she invited these influencers, was trying to keep them separate, was trying to keep them with her. The fact that she put Tanya's face right in the front as like the TikTok star star, even though she had sponsored keynote speakers. To me, it just seemed like these big name creators were invited to be essentially like show ponies to help their followers to follow Cece, because if they're talking about the cruise and tagging her, I think that Cece just wanted to grow her following through that. Now I'm going to react to a video from a creator called Alicia, and her account title is The Brown Mommy Melts. So I'll have her tagged down below as well, but she did a long video. This was an Instagram live that was saved to her page. It's about 30 minutes long, so I probably won't include the entire thing, but I will include kind of what feels like the most important parts. I'll link the whole thing down below in case you want to watch the full amount.
I am not a person that normally does something like this, but I have sat quiet for far too long. And so I'm going to speak about this, and we are going to expose the truth about what is happening to me that has just transpired as of today. If you are attending the Bariatric cruise, I am sorry to inform you guys that I will not be in attendance. I was just terminated as of this morning, and the reasons that were given do not make sense. And I'm speaking out because what just happened is not okay, and I need you guys to know exactly what has transpired, and I'll let you guys make your own decisions about how you guys proceed forward when it comes to Barry Diaries, CC Chandler, or any future Bariatric cruises. I was asked to be a part of the Bariatric cruise earlier this year, and I was told that I would have to pay for myself and my husband to attend, in which I originally agreed. In about February or March of the year, CC had called. She had called me several times, actually. No, I misspoke. I was asked to be a part of the Bariatric cruise in 2022, and earlier in the year, about the beginning of the year, February, March time frame, I was contacted by Cece, in which she said she needed help and she felt overwhelmed with the cruise. And we spoke, and I said, well, I want to see this cruise do well. I'm here to support you. I don't mind assisting you with this cruise. And so she asked me to contact customer accounts regarding this cruise, and that she would pay me for each account that I contacted. She also asked me to contact sponsors, and she asked me to contact other people in the community to see if they would be interested in joining this cruise, in which I did and performed all of the tasks. And she agreed to pay me per person. And I stated, well, instead of paying me per person, why don't you just cover the cost of the room, in which she agreed. I fulfilled all of my tasks and my duties. I did everything that I was supposed to do. I had a medical incident with my mental health, and I wasn't able to answer the phone when she wanted me to, but I sent emails and gave updates and was still very communicative. And Cece tried to remove me from the cruise at that point, and then later said, nope, I don't want to remove you from the cruise. You can still go. I don't want you to do anything, just you and your husband relax because you've got kids and you've got this heart condition. I don't want you stressed. I said, I'm a woman of my word. I will still uphold my end of the bargain. I said I would do exercises. I said I will host lives. I will do that. And I've done that. Even though I have a very important surgery coming up very close to the cruise, I have still made arrangements for myself to be present and to hold up my end of the bargain when it comes to this cruise. I never once was unreasonable. I was very much open and honest and discussed exactly my health condition. It's no secret that I have POTS, P-O-T-S, POTS syndrome, and my AV block type 2 Mobitz 1. And I've made that aware in expressing the limitations of what I can and I cannot do. So, I've spoken to Cece, Miss Cece Chandler, multiple times between April and a group meeting that we had on Thursday, this past Thursday. Not one time was Cece displeased with me, spoke about sponsors, spoke about items for the sponsorship bag, held alive with my friend in regards to this cruise in form of advertisement for this cruise and future cruises that I will not be a part of. I've held up my end of the bargain. There was a team meeting this past Thursday in which there was some difficulty with everyone being able to communicate. I went out of my way to message her through a question box to say, hey, we can't message you. I was very assistive with the team meeting. There were questions about certain things. I answered one of the questions for the knowledge of the things that I knew from the information that I had been given. There was a mention of a bus, then I asked if the bus had AC. I asked because I have POTS, and extreme weather conditions, hot or cold, can cause a flare-up, and I have to be careful about how I do things, especially doing this. I have specific instructions from my cardiologist for me to be able to participate in said event. I looked at the run of show, and my name was listed on an activity that we had not previously agreed for me to be on. It was an activity that is considered a thrill attraction, and if you have a heart condition, you cannot participate in thrill attractions because of the risk. So I saw that, and I said, hey, I'm listed on this. I can't do this. CC stated, everyone has to do too. And I said, oh, well, we can talk about it after. And so we had continued the meeting. The meeting had ended. They were talking about another event. I said, is the meeting adjourned? They said, yes. I ended it, and I immediately grabbed my phone and called her. I called her 2 times. She did not answer. And then I went to bed because it was 9 o'clock at night. I go to bed pretty early. The next day, I saw I had 2 missed FaceTimes from her, and I tried to contact her again, messaged her, and said, hey, I have to stick to the original agreement. She said that's not going to work. And I said, I'm going to have to stick to our original agreement, things that we discussed months in advance. She said she'll send me an email. I got an email today saying that my services were no longer needed, no longer rendered, and that my room would be canceled, and that I would be refunded any monies that I had paid. The thing is, I paid, my room being covered for this cruise was my payment for the services that I rendered earlier, as far as contacting potential cruisees and contacting sponsors and starting a cruise booklet that she had me start, and then later said for me to not finish that booklet. And so I've also paid for airfare. I've also purchased excursions through Royal Caribbean, things because of my participation in said cruise. All of them safe and within my safety zones, understanding my condition. And I tried to contact her, and she refused to answer my phone calls and said she only wants to speak to me via email. So because of CC's lack of communication with me, and I believe that this has a little bit of medical discrimination in this as well, she has terminated me. She claims that I was unprofessional during the team meeting. I not one time displayed any unprofessional behavior towards her or anyone a part of the bariatric cruise. And the reason that I'm doing this live now is because under the reservation, my name has been removed, but a woman by the name of Jenna has been put in place, but my husband's name is still there. Our credit card is linked to the room, and we are unable to cancel the excursions. So if this person named Jenna spends any money on this stateroom, those charges are now going to go to my husband and I. We're unable to get the money back. I've called Royal Caribbean, and they have stated that it has to go through whomever CC Chandler has used for the reservation, the travel agent, and that person's name is Pickles. That's what the Royal Caribbean person said. So this has caused a financial hardship. This has caused an emotional hardship. I struggle with mental health. I have a very serious heart condition, and stress is really bad. I have been shaking all morning. I was supposed to go grocery shop and do things for my family, but instead I have been focused on this. I feel like I have been treated unfairly. I feel like I have been discriminated against, all because the person hosting this event has decided that my services were no longer needed when I rendered a lot of services during the planning stages of this event. If you are going to the cruise, I hope you guys have a wonderful time, but know that I will not be there. If you're thinking about future cruises, I want you guys to know about the type of person that you guys are going to be dealing with. CC has used me for her own gain and discarded me when I was no longer of use. And because I spoke up and asked questions, I am unprofessional. That's what I was told. So that was what it said. And now my husband's credit card is linked to a stateroom that the name is changed. His name is still on there, but mine is not. I have screenshots of the new name change, but her check-in, this Jenna person, still has my name, my face, my birth certificate, and my address attached to it, and my driver's license, and I cannot remove that. My personal information is now compromised to a stranger that I do not know because they changed the name on a reservation, and it's been linked to my Royal Caribbean account. So my safety is compromised. My personal information is compromised. And we're out money. We are out money that we cannot recuperate because of a travel agent by the name of Pickles. And that's all transpired as of 8:54 this morning. Someone who refused to answer their phone, who could have very easily known that, hey, I can't do a surf rider event because that's considered a thrill attraction and I have 2 chronic heart conditions. I'm not going to put myself in a position to pass out or need emergency services on a cruise ship. I'm not going to do that. Not for anyone. But that's what I've been dealing with this morning. That's what kind of person CC Chandler is. That's the kind of business CC Chandler does. And I felt that it was necessary that I say something. There are a lot of times where I've had bad things done to me, and I have not spoken out or said anything about them. But I am a woman of integrity, and I'm a woman of my word. And one thing I've always said to Cece is, I am a woman of my word, and I'm going to do what I agreed to. And Cece has not done the same. And now it has caused a financial hardship on my family. And so I'm sharing this with you guys. So if you're thinking of doing a cruise with her in the future, maybe not. I can't tell you what to do. It is far too late to cancel for this upcoming cruise. But this is the kind of person that we have in the community that does this to people, that literally will have you and use you and have you advertise their event on their page, have you get airfare for their page, for their event, have you sign up, check in, sign up for excursion for their event, to then terminate you because you asked 2 questions. And the questions that I asked was, will the buses have AC? And this surf rider event, I didn't sign up for this. I can't do this. I have a heart condition. I have 2 chronic heart conditions. AB block type 2, Mobitz 1, I've disclosed that. I've had several conversations with her about that. I'm shaking. I've been shaking. Something like this can send me back to the hospital. So this affects my physical health as well. So, I'm just informing you guys that this is what's going on, that I will not be there. If you are going, I hope you guys have a wonderful time. Be safe. And that I wish that I did not have to do this. But I've sent several emails. I have made several phone calls. And CC Chandler is not responding. And so, this is what we have to do. We have to share. We have to say something. She'll be at the Bariatric tea event tomorrow. Woodbridge is not far from Maryland. I don't plan to be there. I was uninvited from that too, but it is what it is. I just want you guys to be careful about the people that you agree to do work with or for in this community. It should not be this way. I should not have had to deal with this. And it's unfortunate. I was looking forward to it. I've purchased clothing for this event to participate. I was having cards made to pass out to you guys to offer some free services for my coaching. Won't be able to use them now. But I've incurred costs, and now my personal information is compromised, and my safety is compromised, and our credit card is linked to a stateroom that I'm not in anymore, but my husband is still. All because I asked 2 questions during a meeting. That's the type of business. That's the type of arrangements that is done at Bariatric Diaries. I was warned about Bariatric Diaries by a friend. I was warned, and I did not listen to that advice. And I regret that. I regret that. I don't know why I was removed from the event. The email states for unprofessional conduct during the meeting. It was a Zoom meeting. It started off as a broadcast and was a meeting. In the meeting, we went over some events. I shared information that I knew. And then I asked 2 questions. One about a bus. Will the bus have AC? The reason I asked that question is because of my heart condition. Extreme heat and cold can cause me a POTS episode. And so if it's a bus without AC, maybe I need another transportation method to the cruise ship. And that's the reason why I was asking. And then I asked about being placed on a thrill attraction when, if you've got a heart condition, you can't do thrill attractions. If you go to any amusement park, it greatly states heart conditions, you may not ride. You know, it's not advisable if you have this or if you have that. And she knew. I disclosed it multiple times that I have 2 heart conditions. Yes, she knew. She was very aware. She does not listen. She did not listen very well. So that was that. So that's the email I received today. I tried to call several times. She said she would like all correspondence through email. I've sent several emails. She has not responded. I've tried to cancel things to see if we can recoup some of our costs. But I still rendered services. There were a lot of people that I emailed on behalf of Bariatric Diaries and the Bariatric Cruise to get people to, hey, you started the process of signing up for a cruise, but you didn't finish. Did you have any questions? Yeah, I sent out a lot of those emails. I also contacted a lot of sponsors, companies that I knew and had relationships with. Exactly. See, maybe she sees you as a liability with your heart condition. And see, that is considered medical discrimination. That is medical discrimination. If I was a liability and I wasn't comfortable being around, then she should have disclosed that. But no, her stated reason was unprofessional behavior during a meeting. And there was no unprofessional behavior on my part.
Okay, so that's basically her video. It does go on for a little bit longer, just her answering questions and talking to people about everything she was going through. But that is the gist of the situation and what happened, which honestly, that is so insane. And it just kind of goes to show what type of person Cece, aka Barry Diaries, really is. And the motive behind this just being so terrible. One, I don't even get why she had to give away Alicia's room to Jenna when they were all told that 150 people were going and only 73 showed up. Surely there was enough rooms for Jenna and Alicia to go. Also, it's crazy to me that Alicia was essentially working for Cece in order to pay for her room. So that was the agreement they had come to, that Cece would pay for Alicia's room and Alicia would recruit people. She was supposed to be paid for every person that she recruited, but instead they worked it out that it would be her room covered. And then afterwards, when she's told that she's no longer wanted there, basically, that her room would just be credited back to her, but that was her payment for the work she did, which Cece still would be reaping the benefits of the work she did regardless of if Alicia goes or not. Yeah, I feel like as soon as there was like any sort of issue, Cece was just like, all right, well, on to the next one. I don't care. Thanks for the work, but get out. I'm picking someone else. I also think it's insane that she was treated poorly for not being able to go on a ride that could compromise her health, or not a ride, but you know, like an activity, whatever. It's like one of those surf things. So obviously she knows what she can and can't do, and the fact that Cece treated her poorly and basically discriminated against her because she has a health condition that wasn't allowing her to do that, and treated her poorly, saying, well, everyone has to do 2 events. Okay, pick a different event then. Like, if her heart health literally cannot handle that event, then you have to accommodate that. You literally have to. And the fact that the travel agent who Cece went through is named Pickles, it sounds to me like she probably set herself up a travel agent account just to be able to get commissions from all the trips that she booked through it. So a little bit after all this came out, Cece from Barry Diaries did put out a statement. I wouldn't call it an apology necessarily. I don't think she apologized in it. It was about an hour long and it's since been deleted, unfortunately. However, a channel, Obese to Beast, here on YouTube did react to it. He also didn't have the whole thing in his video, so I'm just gonna go over some points from that. If you want to see it, it will be linked down below so you can see a little bit more of it. But essentially, like, the key takeaways from what he had in his video about Cece's video, I know, a video and a video and a video, that's videoception going on. Cece started out her apology statement, whatever, saying that the attendees had a great time, so it was a success in her mind, and that a handful of people with huge personalities and big platforms were trying to do things that are not right, aka blaming the larger creators for essentially trying to like slander her name, even though the cruise went to shit because of her. And then she also painted Nicole from the American Nut Butter company. She also criticized Teresa for getting her own cabana on their beach day and segregating herself from the group. when, I mean, I don't really blame her, seeing as the whole thing was just kind of a crap show to begin with. And the final things that I have to react to is a few of the members or attendees, as well as Jenna, did actually confront Cece on a live video. I did not see the video, unfortunately, but there was a couple of TikToks uploaded afterwards that contained some footage from that, so I'm gonna go ahead and play that here now.
I'm just Cece from fucking Nacogdoches, Texas, and I am so sorry if I fucked up in any way, or if I cussed, or if I lost my shit, or if I didn't give, or if I did anything wrong. I want everybody to know I am sorry.
Okay, but okay,
That's all
so
I can
here's
do.
the things that I want to clear up with you. Here's the things that I want to clear up with you. You did not pay for my hotel room. I paid for my own hotel room for both days. You did in your video.
Mine either.
You stated in your YouTube video that you paid for my room. You did not pay for my room.
No. I did not pay for your room.
You did not pay for my room.
I paid for one. I paid for your hotel room.
No, you did not pay for my hotel room. I paid for my own hotel room.
Okay. I thought I paid.
I have the receipts. I paid
everybody
for myself.
I thought I paid for everybody's hotel rooms.
So can I say something? So
No, not. Okay, I paid for Alicia's room, and then when she lost her room, we were gonna lose that room completely. And because you can't get any money back, you can't do anything, it's gone. And so you actually saved our life by taking this room last minute.
Okay, let me ask you this question. How much did you pay for the cabin that I paid for? How much did you pay for it?
The cabin that you had when Alicia signed on back in, months and months ago, she had an ocean view cabin. It was like $1,500 around there. And then we lost it. And there were no ocean view cabins on the cruise ship at all. And I didn't want to let it go because it was an ocean balcony cabin. So I said, hold it, because let me try to give it to somebody else. But by the time you got it, you were like 2 weeks out from the cruise. And that was the going rate. So as you get closer towards
my question would be, why would you have me pay the going rate and not the rate that you paid for?
No, we lost Alicia's cabin. We lost Alicia's cabin. She
No,
didn't
you
pay.
did not, because her husband was still on the room.
Yes, because we were barely 2 weeks out. That close to the cruise, there are so many channels that they have to go through that his name, I took her name off the cabin. We lost the cabin. You got the cabin, but I couldn't. We were a week and a half out, Jenna. A week and a half out.
I know how cruises work, so I know, but you're currently lying to me, which I do not appreciate, because...
Well, I will call Royal Caribbean.
Right.
And I will show you that we lost that cabin. You bought the cabin at the current rate because we lost it. Whenever you change people that close to the end of the cruise, and you take people out...
You can change it within 48 hours before the cruise. I talked to them myself, personally.
But you can't change I can't take everybody out of a cabin and put somebody in. You lose the cabin. We lost the cabin, Jenna.
Then why would her husband's name still be on the cabin then?
Because we were like a week and a half from the cruise.
So you didn't lose it. Do you understand where these, you're currently lying to me right now.
So the going rate for that cabin 2 weeks out compared to Alicia, she was like 6-8 months out. The going rate was like $2,500. You paid the going rate for about.
So you're telling me right now that what I paid was how much you paid for Royal Caribbean?
No, I paid $1,500 because the cabin was money. We lost that cabin, Jenna. The money's gone. The money's gone.
Can I ask
lost
a
my
question?
money. You
Jenna,
wanted to go.
I'm sorry. Can I ask a question, y'all? Because we just beating around the bush. Jenna, did you pay Royal Caribbean or did you pay CC?
I paid CC.
Okay. It seems there is a major discrepancy here, CC. You and Jenna, y'all really gonna have to go to Royal, figure that part out. I think that y'all.
You paid the going rate, Jenna.
I understand what you're saying.
I
I think we all understand. But Jenna paid you directly. She didn't pay Royal, so you'll need to go back and show all the things, how much was paid.
Okay, so that's the first clip from the live. The main thing that sticks out to me is how CC, I mean, it definitely comes off like she's lying, because as soon as she's asked a question, like everyone else is like quickly like, okay, well, tell me this, tell me that. I called them, it's this. And she's like, well, we lost it and I can't move everyone's room. Like, what the hell does everyone have to do with this? The question is very specific to Jenna's room, which was initially Alicia's room that her husband was still on. That's what Jenna was asking. Why was her husband still there if you lost the room? And if he was still there and you didn't lose the room, why was I charged $2,500 when the room cost $1,500? That was the first one, and then I just have one other clip.
Cruise that I tried to be a travel agent. Did not work out. It was so much work. I was like, when this is over, when it was April 9th, it closed out, my group closed out. I said, I'm done. Like, I don't want to, it was just too much work. It's a lot of bookkeeping. So, but Pickles Agency, Pickles Travel Network was my travel, my travel agency. They have nothing to do with this. They're not an MLM or whatever. It's a woman-owned agency. They're not. Nobody took nobody's money. Nobody cheated nobody.
Cece, I need to talk because you're not saying the important part.
Okay, say the important part, Doug.
Listen to me. Everybody in the comments and spread this. Pickles is a real company with real lawyers that is going to find you if you don't stop talking about them. I'm not being mean.
Okay.
They told us this earlier, that they are going to come and find you and issue you, people that are watching, cease and desist letters and come and find you.
Yeah.
So stop talking about it.
Yeah. So Pickles Network.
For shit's sake.
Okay, so apparently Pickles is an agency, a travel agency that CC was working through, or is her company. I don't know. She says it's not an MLM, but based on that, it kind of sounds like it's either just her company as a whole or she's signed up under that company. So I don't know if it's an MLM. I mean, I really can't say. If she's saying it's not, maybe it's not. But it sounds like to me when I go on the website that Pickles Travel Network is a host agency. This is what they say on the website. So it sounds to me like it's basically a hosting agency where you sort of get accredited to be a travel agent through them, and then you get commission is what it sounds like. Essentially, you're signing up to be an independent contractor. I don't know if it's an MLM. I mean, it doesn't really seem like it. I can't really find too much about it, and regardless, that's not really the point of this video. Cece signed up through that agency to be a travel agent, and she was the one taking care of all the bookings. That has nothing to do with the agency itself. Like, her mishandling all of the bookings and not answering when Alicia was contacting saying that her and her husband's name and information was still on the reservation, that really has nothing to do with the company. That has to do everything with CC specifically and the way that she was running it. So there you have it. That is a recap from start to finish of the Bariatric Cruise drama from beginning to end, just the whole thing that has taken over TikTok for a couple of weeks now. A lot of people were questioning the influencers that were speaking out, but I think ultimately them making their videos about it was not to cause drama, was not to get views. I think what it was is that, of course, if they hyped this thing up, they were essentially advertising whether they meant to be or not. So I think it was a really important thing for them to do, to go on and tell their audiences, hey, like, this is actually a bad experience, I don't recommend you go, because there is another event cruise already being planned for October and signups are already happening. But that is the main reason why a lot of those creators wanted to speak out, just to set the record straight. You know, in honor of authenticity, I think it's important that they share what really went down. But yeah, those are my thoughts. That's the whole situation. Make sure you hit subscribe down below, give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.